Hey guys, welcome to Muzza in Bali. And of course I'm Muzza, Murray Wilkinson's my real name, but I have been living in Bali for the last 2 years just about, and I've been coming to Bali for nearly 30 years. I'm married to a local girl in the last 6 months, and I have been living under very interesting circumstances since I've been here. In fact, when I came over to Bali, we were in the middle of lockdown, so it was almost impossible to get into Bali. And you can imagine, back in the day before Bali, before COVID times, there was about 6.6 million people coming to Bali annually, and the year that I turned up 2 years ago, there was 45 international tourists. I was lucky to be one of those, but I had to jump through some hoops and do some quarantine and stuff to get here. So, in that time, I've seen Bali change from being almost deserted to back to crazy Bali again. And in some ways, it's a worse Bali than it was before. In other ways, it's back on the road to recovery. When I got here, the place was deserted. The people were starving. There was no jobs at all, no one had any extra cash, and they were living off whatever they could scrounge together, and in many cases eating only every couple of days. It was absolutely diabolical. I decided to help, and although I didn't have a lot of money, I did have a camera, so we started filming what we were doing and putting that on YouTube, and that started Muzza in Bali. We started posting some of these little humanitarian things we were doing. We were buying little packets of rice and going down to the beach and feeding the people that had been kicked out of abandoned homes and stuff. We started going up to the village, and we were helping people in the village with bags of rice and big packets of noodles and vegetables and stuff, because they too were in absolutely desperate circumstances. That's built itself into a new product called the Bali Donate Organisation, or technically Yayasan Bali Donate Organisation. That is something that my wife heads up, and it is something that we spend a lot of time helping the people of Bali on a very professional level now, taking these giant big packs of food out. And we also extended that now to supplying bedding, to supplying help fixing up houses, building wheelchair ramps, supplying wheelchairs and mobility aids, and even supplying pigs. So if you look through some of our back catalogue under Helping Bali playlist, you'll see some of the crazy and some of the incredible things that we've seen. And I'll warn you now, grab a tissue, because some of them are pretty heart-wrenching. There's some really amazing stories and some beautiful people that have made it possible for us to be able to help the people of Bali. And this is one of the reasons I'm here today. We're here this time to help you guys. So part of this Being in Bali series is talking to people about living in Bali, and specifically in the past we've done quite a few videos on retiring in Bali, because Bali is sort of becoming a little bit like the Florida of Australia. It's like the place. It's cheaper than Queensland by far. It's certainly a lot less isolating than Western Australia. So if you want to get up into the tropics, there's only a few places in Australia where you can sort of go that the cost of living is not ridiculous. Well, Bali's it's in the tropics. The cost of living is pretty much dirt cheap, but there's a few things you got to understand about Bali that could prevent it or could make it difficult. So we're going to try and go through some of them. I've got another playlist in my chapter, or in my channel, called Retiring in Bali. And I very strongly suggest go back through some of those old videos, because they will help you to understand some of the complications and some of the difficulties in coming to Bali. We're interviewing people that are actually living over here at the time and going through how easy or how hard or how frustrating it can be sometimes to move to Bali. And also a lot of my own personal experience as well, because I didn't come over here with a big wad of money. I came over here with no job. I'm not allowed to technically work over here. I'm allowed to help my wife with her business, and she doesn't make money because she runs a charity. So we live on a very, very simple, very minimal budget, and we bring a different perspective to Bali that you won't get from some of these Instagrammers where they're living in fancy luxury villas with swimming pools and whatnot. I do get to visit a lot of hotels, and I do get a few swims in when I can, but it's certainly not a daily lifestyle for us. So over the next couple of months, we're going to be doing a whole series of videos that are designed to give you a chance to understand as much as we can throw together about the complications, the advantages, the disadvantages, the costs, and the procedure in moving or living in Bali. Now, it's not just for retirees. We're going to be doing it for people who want to come over here as maybe they want to spend a year over in Bali and just take some time out from life in Australia. Maybe they want to just come over here for a few months, but they want to set themselves up a little bit better. We have a lot of people in Western Australia that do a fly in, fly out. Every couple of weeks they come back to Bali and they actually maintain a house in Bali because it's cheaper than living somewhere in the States or in Australia. So the best we can do is try to give you advice. Please don't take it as gospel, because it's the opinions of the people that we're talking to. It's the experience that they've had. I'm also going to be talking about people who want to come over here and set up a business. Look, I'll give you a very, very important piece of advice. If you want to invest in Bali, there's very few investments where you can drop the money, build a resort, build a fancy restaurant or a bar or something, and then leave and have that asset growing in the background. Bali very, very much needs investors that are here on the ground, because the easy answer is they almost never work. You really need to be overseeing and managing your investment, your finances when you're here, and you, no matter how loyal and trustworthy the people that you get to run the business, when it comes to making the big decisions, I can't tell you how many hundreds of people I've spoken to that have invested huge sums of money in businesses and had it all go down the drain. So I want to talk that in more detail. I want to cover insurance. Now, both travel insurance and long-term health insurance for expats, for people who want to live over here, including the local health insurance, which is very, very inexpensive. If you're here on the right visa, you can get the local insurance, and it's less than $20 a month. So there are some cheap alternatives, there's some dangerous alternatives, and there's a whole heap of information and misinformation out there. So I'm trying to give you as much as I can. I'm trying to balance it as best as I can, and I'm looking for questions. So please put at the end of this video, if you've got questions, please send us a question. I'm even going to put our website so you can email to us, and so you can contact us through the website if you've got more detailed questions or you want to keep it a little bit more private. And the most important thing I want to ask you in return for our work doing all these videos is two things. Firstly, give us a thumbs up, because those thumbs ups help YouTube know that we're doing a good job. They help YouTube to recommend us to new subscribers or to new people. And the second thing I need to ask you to do is to hit that subscribe button at the bottom of the telly. Now, the reason for the subscription, it doesn't cost anything to subscribe on a YouTube channel. It just means every time we do a new video, it pops up in your feed. You go, oh, there's Muzza doing another video. And it means you get to follow along with what we're doing here in Bali without having to try and type, what was that guy's name and how do I find him again? So it makes it a lot easier for you, and also makes it incredibly much better for us. And it keeps the whole thing working the way it should. So thanks for your time. Thanks for your subscription. I'm going to try and make it fun. I'm going to have some interesting topics to bring up. We are going to be talking to lawyers. We're going to be talking to insurance agents. We're going to be talking to doctors. We're going to be talking to a lot of people that live here, and people who have set up businesses over here. And you get sick of listening to me waffle, guys, but I tell you what, it's all good. Bali is a beautiful place to live, and I'm a little bit biased, but if you want to know what it's all about, the best way to find out, subscribe and follow along with us. And if you're coming over, look us up, and I'll see you when you get here.